Do you know why Christ died? It wasn't just about the earth. He was saving a huge portion of the universe. He was saving a realm that is trapped, fallen from the grace of God, a realm that gave forth evil, and that evil turned into a prison that held it, a realm that was imprisoned by death. So that's why when you read about the ascension and descent of God, I think it's is it in Corinthians? In his descent, he says, Paul says that if he ascended, then it means that he descended first. And we know that he descended because he encountered the fate of all men, mortality, and defeated it. That is the first sign by which we know that he engaged in a spiritual battle, that this realm, not just our galaxy, but the surrounding realm, has been unable to run or to escape from. But he was able to descend into that power and to escape its grip. You know, our world is right now expecting another epoch to begin. You're on the verge right now. And this is all part of that cycle that comes to suck away life out of everything that is upon this realm, including men. And that is why, from the first time that man is born, they start deteriorating. They start losing something out of their spirit. We've got God the Father, we've got God the Son, but who is this third spirit that is bound? Who is man, really? You know, it's written that he made us from the soil, from the dust of the earth, which means we are the earth with the breath of God. We are the bits of the universe that are related to the earth. But with us is another realm, another creation that is intermingled amongst our realm. Death is the essence of his power. So it's no surprise that upon defeating death, upon descending, remember he came for a purpose. Christ came for a purpose, and that purpose is bigger than you. You're part of it because you're connected to the earth, but it's bigger than you. And it was accomplished. So from death was ruling over life. And it is written that when he ascended, he left men with gifts. And what are the gifts that he left men with? The gifts of the Spirit of God. The gifts that men until that point could not express, because those gifts, those angels, were held by something that Christ broke through. The reason why Christ could do more than most of the prophets that had preceded him is that he was coming from a realm that wasn't in bondage. When you read the book of Ezekiel, when he's talking about the morning star and the fall of the cherubim, the glory of God which fell from heaven. Now, the fall from heaven is basically that translation into a realm of bondage, that part of his glory. I'm saying part because his word would also qualify as making part of his glory. And Christ is not in bondage, and from Christ If you seek out the ancient scripts, you'll see that from Christ also came forth even more definitions or expressions of the glory of God. What happens when you conquer a nation? When you bind their king, that means that the king who has conquered takes authority over the rulers, over the lords of that kingdom. That is what happened when the glory of God fell. The devil took charge over powers that were actually holy, that were actually expressions of the glory of God. But they could no longer express themselves because of a new ruler, a new king, a new power, which was acting in a contrary way. Now, the reason why these powers are still in control of the world and a considerable part of the universe is that God is a God of order. You conquer, you have your time under the sun, you have your 15 minutes of Him. The problem is that sometimes 15 minutes is a few millions in the heavenly realm. So this guy gets his 15 minutes of fame. Time has to pass. And those from whom iniquity was born have to endure the consequences. The same way that the earth became under the sway of the wicked, when the sons of men intermarried, not really under the sway, and that's when the rulers and the principalities descended upon the earth. Then the princes, who are the angels, married men. From them came the giants, who became the rulers. Mixed blood, so they're below the princes, okay? That's the origin of the rulers. Some of the powers that were released by the descending of Christ to the earth and to the powers that rule over the earth. Some of the powers that were released are the powers that he spoke about when he described who he was in Isaiah, when he opened the scroll to read it to the people. One of the purposes that he read was to declare freedom to those who are in bondage. So we have freedom from bondage, we have healing, and we have declaration of the year of Jubilee. That is release. Release not just from bondage, but from a season. You can find how the descriptions of the seasons of Jubilee were counted in, I think it's Leviticus or Leviticus. Okay, look at Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and the laws are being given to the children of Israel with regard to the people who are being led in slavery. It is the significance of the rest that was to be observed by the children of Israel.